and welcome back to the Star Wars expanded universe, now redubbed by Disney, or current Lucasfilm, whichever way you slice it. Legends. So, for any of you that have actually been sitting through my reviews, you've heard me talk about this forever. I've been hinting, or not even hinting, but talking about getting here for so long. And here we finally are. The new Jedi Order series. The series which was such a big project for Lucasfilm, which spanned 19 books and in lore took 5 years to complete with, what was it? I don't know how many different authors, but there's a lot of different authors for this. Was it 12? Something. There's a lot of authors for this series because there's 19 books to get through. This first one came out in 1998, so this would have, I don't remember if Phantom Menace came out in 1998 or 1999, so these first couple might have come out before the prequels, but most of them are coming out after at least the first one, maybe even the second one. I'm not sure. But this is where everything changes. This is where we get into a whole new era, something completely different. And I know I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but since we are getting closer to the timeline of what the sequels are, especially in Legacy of the Force, I'm going to have to mention the comparison because it's there. But here, this is 21 years after the Battle of Endor, and 26 years, I think, after the Battle of Yavin, which is the last fight scene in Episode 4. Leia and Luke are in their 40s at this point. So is Mara Jade. The kids are still 16 at this point, so this must happen near the end of them being 16, because they were 16 in the Young Jedi Knight series, or at least in the last couple of them. But the bubble that you watch these Star Wars movies and you're like, our main characters are fine because they're the main characters. Our heroes are fine. They've always been fine. They always will be fine. We're going to have a fun adventure and that's going to be it. That stops here. The bubble that keeps the people that we've grown to love through comics and the TV shows and the movies and all the novels I've been talking about, they're not safe anymore. That ends starting here. Now anyone can die, whether that be a book character or a character that we've known for a long time in the movies. No one's safe from the Yuuzahn Vong. Speaking of which, what an interesting new villain. Unlike anything we've ever seen. This is no first order of the sequel trilogy variety. This is a completely new threat, unlike anything the galaxy, or we for that matter, have ever seen. Here we have a species that is so sadistic, so violent, so religiously zealot, that they inflict damage upon themselves, and that gives them pleasure. They don't find a woman attractive unless she has gash marks all over her skin. I thought the aliens that we met in the Black Fleet Crisis were bad. These guys make them look like Jehovah's Witnesses or Mormons knocking on your door. They're nothing in comparison to these guys. And the technology they use, all of it being mechanical, or not being mechanical, all being organic, like living things. Think Half-Life, think Babylon 5, just organic machines. Not machines, they're not machines, the very thing. But it's such a different take. And I never thought in all my years of any Star Wars material, reading and or watching, that I would ever hear the phrase infidel in Star Wars. but the Yuuzahn Vong seem to really think that the humans are infidels. Basically, this is 21 years after the Battle of Endor. Mara has some mysterious disease for some reason. The kids are good. They're with their family. They've been training. We've read the Young Jedi Knight series. We know that they've had training. And these guys that are wearing human suits are infiltrated in different parts of the galaxy. And you have this guy named Naminor, who is being some religious fanatic on this one planet. He's not a native to that planet, but he is there trying to bring up droid hate. They despise droids, and they despise the other planet right beside them that is apparently more well off than them. Or at least that's Naminor's excuse to get the people riled up. The Yuuzahn Vong also hate anything that has to do with technology. They despise it. It is the Hitler with the Jews, like just the worst thing on the planet, the Jews. It's anything technological for them. They also love dying for the glory of battle. But they are ever slowly but surely gaining resources, gaining their numbers so that they can, eventually attack. Luckily, by the end of this book, our heroes do succeed in stopping this particular onslaught. But this is not the last we'll see of the Yuuzahn Vong, as this war is going to last for 5 years. And they weren't in a war yet. They stopped a little skirmish. So the war is coming. We get to understand where Jason, Jaina, and Anakin are at a bit more. We get to see them really a little bit more fleshed out. We're going to see a lot more of them in this series. But I really don't want to tell you too much. This is a fantastic start to the New Jedi Order series. I can't imagine all of them are going to be excellent, but as a starter to a 19-book epic, this is a phenomenal read. I'd even tell you who this was written by. This is written by R.A. Salvatore. This is New Jedi Order, Book 1, Vector Prime by R.A. Salvatore. He's a fantastic author. It was a fantastic read. And a character that we know and love from books and from the movies is taken away from us in this particular novel. And that was not fun. I don't really want to tell you anything else. It hooks you in from the moment you start reading, I'd say. It's well paced all the way through. It is one of the best reads from these Star Wars that I've done. Still don't beat Darth Plagueis or yet, but I don't know. This is definitely a really, really good read. Maybe top 20? I'm not sure yet. I haven't read everything, but it was a really good read. I enjoyed it significantly more than the Callista trilogy. I enjoyed it more than they had a Thrawn duology together. I enjoyed it more than, what was that other one? The Survivor's Quest. I enjoyed it more than a good portion of Young Jedi Knights. Not that I didn't enjoy it. Don't get the wrong impression. I'm just saying, if you watch my review, you know I liked it. But this was just, it's a novel. It's going to be better. But overall, I can't recommend 19 books to you because that's a lot of money. But if you want to know if you want to start investing in a 19-book epic, start with this and see what you think. Because sometimes I have an opinion that's in the minority. I'm not in the minority here, I think. But, sometimes you won't like the books that I recommend, and that's okay. We have different preferences. But I would recommend checking out this first book and seeing what you think. Because if you're like me, going to want to continue on this journey. But I'm going to get into spoilers now. And yeah, if you don't want spoilers, get out of here. It's worth your time, though. Go check it out. So, this is 26 years after the Battle of Yavin. Jaina and Jacen are 16. So this, of course, has to happen in the same year as the last 3 books, because they're 16 in those books. And as I said in the non-spoiler, Mara, from the very beginning of the book, she's sick. No one knows why she's sick, but a couple of other people have gotten sick from this, and they're dead. She's the only one that hasn't died from it. She's fighting it. It's never explicitly... we don't exactly know how this happened. What we do know is that the Yuuzahn Vong were involved, and they had something to do with it. Luke, at this point, is thinking about bringing back... I probably should have said this in a non-spoiler, but whatever. My mind was on other things because I just finished the book after reading it. Luke is thinking about bringing back the Jedi Temple. Or the... Yeah. Or not the Jedi Temple, the Jedi Council. He wants to reestablish that because there's so many Jedi out and about. And there's a conflict happening like early on in the book where this guy killed somebody that he didn't need to. He was a Jedi, and Luke feels like we need to be able to keep order. We need to be able to, like, you know, control what's going on because everyone's kind of going rogue. And he wants to make sure that there's a way to, like, check what everyone's up to and stuff. Scars mean you're attractive and that you're ascending to godhood. The Yuuzahn Vong, ladies and gentlemen. Their mindset. Or Yamankar is not mindset. Yamankar is the guy pretending, that I said in non-spoilers, wearing a human skin to pretend to be a human, and he's been there. They say they've been there for years. I don't know if this is the earliest I'd probably put this, or the latest I'd put this is, or the early, I don't know, freak. I'm thinking that this started somewhere around the Young Jedi Knight series starting, though I don't know. I don't know exactly when they started planting themselves in here to get ready for this invasion, but they've been here for a while. Borsk Fela is chief of state now. Yeah, you know that jerk from the Thrawn trilogy? In Hand of Thrawn duology? That jerk? He's not head of state. Because Leia backed down. She didn't want to do it anymore. So now we have him in charge. That's freaking great. But the place that Yamankar is at, who you read about in the book, is the entry point. Because Vector Prime is over there or whatever. And that is the entry point for the Yuuzahn Vong to come. Right here, I highlighted this note extra hard because I'll be doing a video later for a specific purpose that I won't get into yet. But let's focus on Jacen. So the first super hard note, which I've never done before, but I'm doing a super hard note now for Jacen, and I will be doing for all subsequent novels that involve him. Jacen doesn't like the idea of reforming the Jedi Council. He doesn't think that the government, kind of like in the prequel era, should be in charge of them. He thinks they're above that because they're Jedi. They don't have to be told what to do by bureaucrats and people that don't understand them, that don't understand the significance of the Force, the power that is within that. So that is a little friction that he has with Luke. Now remember, Anakin and Obi-Wan, they had their disagreements, and so did Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Differences with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan was always respectful when he disagreed with Qui-Gon. Anakin was not so respectful, and Jacen somewhere in the middle with how he treats Luke. Same political trouble. Now that, Leia's back down, Commander Akbar is retired, they're getting back into the same old petty politics that destroyed the Republic of the prequels. And they're falling right back into that same sort of mindset. Bureaucracy, the greatest. I already mentioned Jason fears government control. It is interesting because you have Yeoman Carr, who's pretending to be human. You have Nominor, who's another Yuuzahn Vong that's like working politically to like cause unrest just to be a distraction. But he sees Leia has this meeting to have with the guy. They can't sense him at all. They don't know why. It's weird. Because they're from another galaxy or whatever. And we don't actually fully understand why they can't. I don't know if they're going to explain that later or not. But as of right now, we don't know why the Force isn't within them. But he sees the Noghri, because he has Leia has the Noghri bodyguard from the Thrawn trilogy and stuff. And he's like, these warriors we really respect, because we, when we read the Zahn books, we know that the Noghri are super good at stealth and being warriors and protecting people. And the Yuuzahn Vong are all about that. They love that. So while they're their enemy, they respect them a lot. Basically, the Yuuzahn Vong are an extreme variation of like a Klingon. Like a Klingon is all about honor and fighting. And so are the Yuuzahn Vong, except they also mutilate themselves and love inflicting damage upon another, and are all about the glory of battle like Klingons. And they also are sadistic, though, which I don't believe Klingons are. Dying in battle is the greatest thing you could possibly do, which is also similar to Klingon. But yeah, so when you think about these guys, just think like a much more messed up, insane, religiously zealot Klingon. If you're a fan of Star Trek, otherwise you don't even know what I'm talking about. So I was talking about the organic tech, or it's not tech, but whatever, in the non-spoiler. There's a part where they have these things to breathe on water, which we also learn about in the prequels, that the humans have something that they do something similar, but they don't like technology. So they have this like star sort of like creature. I imagine like a mixture of like the face hugger from Alien and like a starfish. And this thing, you put it next to your mouth, and it like goes down your throat, and you're gagging, and just like something like weird and gross like that. And afterward, you'll be able to breathe underwater. It's just so weird. And as I mentioned, our old heroes are getting old now. We got to make way for the new, for Jason, Jaina, and Anakin, because Luke, Mar, Leia, they're past 40 now. And if I understood correctly, Han's a bit older than Leia, so he's either getting close to 50 or he is 50. I wrote this quote down because Anakin and Jason seem to have polar ideas about how the Force should be used. Anakin's all about like action and thinks, like we need to use it this way. I train, I'll be able to do this. Jason doesn't think that the Force is really for violence. Like, yeah, you do violence when need be, but it's all about learning about the inner self or whatever. And he says here, this is my extra super highlight again, the Force is a method of serenity and truth, not an outward projecting tool to further one's own perception of good, which I found just super interesting. Of course, they find sort of a middle ground near the end of this book because of stuff that happens, but you can read the book to know what I'm talking about. Yes, next note. Kip Durin, my boy from the Jedi Academy trilogy that people piss on for some reason. I don't know why. He's fantastic, and he's back, and he's cool, and I love seeing him, and I hope we see more of him in this series, which I'm sure we will, which is going to be great, because Kip Durin's one of my favorite characters. I love Kip Durin. Anyone that hates on him is stupid. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. You can hate on him, but you're wrong. you're wrong. Luke really feels a deep brotherly bond with Han, which is something I talked about before. There's no closer friend than Han and Chewie. There's no one closer. Han and Leia are really close, of course, but that's a different kind of close. That's a romantic, husband and wife close. But as for two people that aren't related by blood and aren't, romantically involved, Han and Chewie are the closest. But then right after that comes Luke. Because not only is it his brother-in-law, but as I mentioned before, because of the expanded universe, it never explicitly says this, but I've always had the impression that one of the reasons that Han stayed, during the Death Star is because Luke reminded him of that kid that took his name, and he allowed it, even though he knew that he wasn't actually a Solo in the A.C. Crispin trilogy. And I've always felt like he was thinking about that. That's why, he stayed to help. But I just really appreciate, knowing that they're close. What does this say? I'm sorry, I can't read my own notes. Oh, the entire scene with Yomankar versus Mara was epic. I loved it all. Oh. Now we get to the big spoiler of the book. I mentioned that a movie character died in this book. Well, that was Chewie. They were on this planet. A moon was coming down because of something that the Yuuzahn Vong did. And Anakin had to be the hero. He was saving people, doing a good job. And they were about to head back into the Falcon, but he heard a toddler's cry. And he went to go look for it, and he told, Chewie to go back to his ship. Chewie looks back at Han, and of course he's not going to leave his son there. So he goes to help him get the kid. But a piece of debris hits Anakin on the head, and he goes, flying around. So Chewie goes to save him. Gets him back on the Falcon. Chewie's having trouble getting on the Falcon. Anakin comes to, and he gets to the cockpit. Realizes that they don't have enough time to get Chewie. They don't have enough time to save him. So despite what Han wanted, Anakin zooped up into the sky, and Chewie died. But for our boy Chewie, it did take a moon to kill him. Han is understandably not taking it well. He just lost his brother. And it's wrong, but he takes it out on Anakin. Because he drove away. Of course, Anakin's thinking, everyone else would have died. We all would have died if I had stayed. But all Han can think about is my best friend is dead. Because we left him to die. Kids get to fly TIE fighters during the Battle of Yuuzahn Vong, the first battle, which is really cool. To just see a ship that's been used against our heroes for so long as a tool now to be used against the new bad guys is cool. And I mentioned Babylon 5 because of the ships, because the ships are actual living entities, beings that the Yuuzahn Vong drive. They're not ships, they're things, they're beings, which is sort of like Babylon 5 with a certain alien race. Oh, so Jason goes down to the frozen planet, saves Danny Kui, and I was like, no! Because they're both, like almost naked in the cockpit, and she rested her head on his strong arms. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? She better not fall in love with this person, because Also, where the hell is Tino Ka? Because he should be with Tino Ka. But anyway, sorry. That upset me. They utterly get destroyed. They get some reinforcements. They get a Victory Class 2 Star Destroyer, which, if I'm remembering correctly, are the pizzas that the Empire used to use. And they defeat it with almost utter ease. So they have to retreat. But they come up with a plan with just, like our main characters. And they only barely manage to defeat this small faction of them. But as I said, this will not be the end of them. But as of right now, that is their victory. But yeah, this whole book shows like what a threat they can be and what a threat they will be. And it's really good. It's a really good read and really worth your time. But yeah, and those last couple pages, man, I don't think it fully hit me with Chewie because I wasn't crying. I already knew it was going to happen because I got spoiled on that. But I was like, that sucks. But I just kept going. And it wasn't until Han kept talking about it and he mentioned, like, we're the main characters. It was like a fourth wall break, kind of like, he didn't say counting all the comics, novels, and in the movies that we've been in, but that's what I was thinking in my head while he was talking about stuff. He's like, we've been through so much, like, missing death by the skin of our teeth, but we always make it out. I thought we were, like invincible. We always make it out. No matter how dangerous things seem, we always make it out in the end. Always, every time. But not that time. Not for Chewie. And now, he fears the galaxy more than he ever has. Because now he knows that the galaxy isn't safe. Now he knows the main characters aren't safe. He's not safe. His wife's not safe. Luke's not safe. Mara's not safe. His kids aren't safe. And he can't stop them. Because they're becoming adults. And that terrifies him. Because he can't lose another one. Like he lost Chewie. But we'll lose more people. Whether that be book characters or whatever. There's more depression to come. I told you, depression. This is what the series will become. I haven't read it before, but I knew about some stuff. And that was one of them. I also knew how serious this threat would be. I hope you join me next time for the short story, Boba Fett, a Practical Man. Before we move on to book 2 in the New Jedi Order series. So hope you join me then. If you enjoyed this video, give a thumbs up, sharing up a ton. Let me know what you thought about this book if you've read it in the comment section below. If not, why are you here? You just ruined a great book for yourself. Shame on you. But anyway, catch you next time. Bye-bye.